WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I got the bow tie underneath today. We have moved out of Baltimore up to Carroll County, dare I say, my favorite place in Carroll County, or I'll get thrown out of Hampstead. It's more my favorite when you guys start getting the Christmas lights up here. But I have beer. I have crab cake. Probably going to walk out of here with a couple French fries before it's all over with. It is the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. It is all presented by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. We're going to be playing here, giving away some Ravens scratch-offs for opening day. And next week we're going to be in Dundalk, my homeland, back at the Fountain at the Drug City. I used to rent videotapes there, Chris. I mean, it was the place where we got prescriptions filled, got booze, got videotapes. I got all my baseball cards and all my wrestling magazines at Drug City back in the day. Okay. And but I'm going to be there next week at the Fountain on Friday. But I'm here with you. And, look, we've brought lots of celebrities through here, right? Like,
a lot.
Can we start dropping names of Sam Cooke, Dennis Pitta, Hall of Famer Marshall Yonder, potential Hall of Famer Steve Smith, right? So we've had a lot of people here. I've probably done 100 shows 20 feet from here through the wall, right? If I could see through the wall, like X-ray vision, we're 10 feet away from where I've done all these incredible shows all these years, and now all of a sudden we have something new. This was the OTB. But beginning at noon, about 3 hours ago, not even 3 hours into it, you're doing something unprecedented in Carroll County and really unprecedented in the state in that a dude named Chris somehow is working with the Bet Parks folks here, and you can come in here right now and I can bet 100 on the Ravens. I can bet 1,000 on the Ravens right now, right?
You could. That's right. And don't want to forget David Richardson is really one of the main reasons why we're here. So
we'll get to him in the next segment. We'll talk to him. But I've known you a long time, and he's with the Bowl right next door.
Yeah. Correct.
And you've started here with a vision of just when people ask me what it's like, I'm like, it's sort of like a local grill, all-American grill. You were a sports bar and grill with great food and a family. You've been doing this a long, long time as Greenmount Station, right?
Yeah, 1995, and I think everybody likens us to a Cheers type atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody that comes in here, and it's a real friendly atmosphere, and that's what we push for, and that's what we get. And the community has embraced us over the 27 plus years that we've been here, and we do our best. And I think the community comes out and gives us their best as well.
Well, Chris Richards has been on a show many, many times over the last 2 years. I'm sponsored by the Maryland Lottery. One of the reasons John got involved with Baltimore Positive, what I'm doing a year and a half ago, was that he knew sports wagering was coming online, and every week this week I had Seth Elkin on. Last week we had Roz on. Roz going to come out and have a crab cake with me at some point. But the folks at the Lottery, this is new for them. Rolling this out, Swark, trying to get the bigger casinos open 9 months ago, trying to get it open for the Super Bowl. You targeted trying to get opening day of football this year. This has been a difficult operation for the biggest of big Vegas houses, but certainly for a dude up in, Hampstead of Greenmount Station trying to organize this, that you've come online Halloween weekend, a little later than you wanted to. But this is an immense undertaking, right? I talk about it every week. I always say it's got to be on the up and up. I'm going up here making a wager. It needs to be on the up and up, and that's going to involve regulation that you probably were not aware of when you signed up for, and now today that you're open. Can you peel that back for me, what a regular guy wants to get into the sports wagering business?
Well, like David and I said, two little guys from Carroll County out here, in rural Carroll County, to make something like this happen.
Rural Carroll County. Stop with that.
Well, two small business guys out here. Trust me, it's the regulations and all the hoops that you got to jump through and the things that you got to bring to the table, and it's more than I would have ever dreamed of. I can't believe it. I mean, we had to have a team to get it done. We have attorneys, accountants, and other people to help us get everything
just
done.
The technology alone it's massive. I mean, you open in the OTB here, right? Did that give you some sort of training wheels for what you were trying to accomplish?
Maybe a little bit, but it's totally different. I mean, it's just the way they literally treat us like a casino for the regulations, and I think that hopefully in the coming years we'll get some things. Maybe we'll get some rules and regulations just for the small Class B.
Because you're not going to play craps and blackjack in here.
No, and we really shouldn't be treated the same way as a casino because obviously it's not. I mean, we have four 4 betting kiosks here and two over-the-counter terminals. And it's just
it is a mom and pop operation.
It is.
I went to Hollywood last week. I've been to Live. I was there when they opened back in January, and I've been up in Perryville, long way from here. And I saw the people in line, and this is just where, and you'll see this as well. And you've heard people, I don't know if you heard, people have wagered on football long before you opened at noon today, right, in Carroll County. But now there's a legal way to do this. And the thing that struck me, standing in a casino 2 weeks ago Saturday, they had Todd Heap up there, and I saw lines at their kiosks. They had several of them, and I saw all these people, black people, white people, young people, old people, ladies, men, in line, Steelers hats, Bears this, Titans that, in line, and there were 100 people in the space at 11 in the morning making whatever wager, $5, $100, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm thinking, this isn't their first time they've been wagering, to bring this online. And we talk cannabis here and other things, and there's a voting going on that in a couple of weeks, right? But the fact that people can do this now on the up and up and legally and feel confident that they're not doing it, bookies, underworld, organize this, crime, any of that this is, and you have 4, this is such a small little, every transaction will take place within my arm stretch here, literally. Yeah. The rest of this is all horse racing, right?
That's right. And I agree. It's a great thing that you can do it legally now, and the real beneficiaries are going to be not just the residents of the county and the state, but the state's going to get some good tax revenue.
$982,000 the first month. So John Martin came on. You're going to add to that. Hollywood wasn't. I mean, the other places weren't open. Bingo World was just getting open. So talking about all these places locally, you're the nearest place within a long stretch up here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just you're the only one in Carroll County, correct?
Correct. And really, Timonium isn't open yet. So right now, I mean, your choices are, we were talking about, one of our selling points is instead of driving down to the city or to Arundel Mills, you got it right here in your backyard. So you don't need to make that trip.
Seed for this and the OTB and sort of the timeline to get you to today, because I know you're really proud to get. Who made the first bet? I need to know. Was it on the Ravens or against them? Was it no?
When was it? It was on Monday, right?
Oh, that's right, because you had a couple of days where you.
They call them controlled demonstrations, and the lottery and their officials are here to make sure everything is going.
So you were accepting bets on those days
for real bets?
We were
accepting live wagers, and then the neat thing about that is the money that was raised those 2 days through the live wagering, we're donating to charity, and that was a big number, almost $5,000. To the local.
Hold on, you donated
pantry.
$5,000, so you had a nice little handle here Monday, maybe.
Monday
first day.
And Wednesday, yeah.
Well, the Ravens played Thursday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that? Give me a little primer for what that would look like. And I've been to Vegas so many times, and even up in Atlantic City or the bigger casinos, and the sports books are these massive green and white, active. There's always horse racing going on. It's off the side of a casino. And the notion that there's a restaurant here and it's the same as it's ever been, right? Crab cake, by the way, I can't wait to get this segment over because I got a fried and a broiled crab cake here. It's a Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery, your friends at Goodwill, as well as Window Nation, that you can bring your family, do all the things you were always doing, watch the game in the way you've always watched it, and literally just slip over and make a bet. That's the way this is designed, right?
That's right, and that's awesome because now our guests, our customers are able to come over and, like you mentioned earlier, legally place a wager, and now they can go back and watch the game, and hopefully if they win, they can come over and cash the ticket. If not, they can come back the next day and cash the ticket. So
you know what I might do for fun, because I know you and I know the bet's on the up and up, and I know I'll be able to cash a ticket if I win or lose. I've never never thought of betting on a baseball game in my life, right? And I talk about this as part of my shtick, that I've been a baseball guy. My last name's Aparicio. I've never known anyone who wagered, I don't want to say professionally, even for fun or even with any sort of expertise, right? You're in here all day. People know how to read the form, right? I learned how to read the form 40 years ago, and I'll bet on red or blue or a number with horse racing. With baseball, I literally have been watching it and talking about it professionally my whole life. I've never had anybody call rub up and say, hey, who do you like tonight? You like Lyles? You like what pitcher you like? I got action. I 8-5 or whatever. I don't even know how to bet on it, right? Like I understand over under and wins and losses with football and point spreads and all that. Baseball betting is something that baseball is betting on, right? So like I've been watching baseball the last 3 years. Every other ad is hopefully at some point they're going to create and stimulate the kind of interest that a place like yours would have in baseball season, because the industry right now, and I know you had folks here from Bet Parks that they'll bet on table tennis somewhere around the world, right? Darts. You can take a dart bet here?
You can take bets on darts.
So you can take a bet on anything here. Like anything that you can bet on in Vegas, you can bet on here.
Almost any.
Because I only think about it as like the NFL, but I'm seeing all sorts of futures. I mean, literally anything. I haven't been as sophisticated, but I feel like I want to make a baseball wager on the World Series before it begins. I think that might be the thing I do. Put 20 on one or the other, try to figure it out.
And, you don't just have to bet on the game or the series. You can bet on props in the game, who gets more hits or who has home runs. You can bet on who the first team to score is. There's all kind of things that people bet on now, and I honestly didn't know half of the things. I knew there were props, but I didn't know the extent of it. You're talking about
Caps are 40-1? What?
To win the NHL.
Stanley Cup, yeah, it's 40-1 You get, hey, I mean, that's an idea. It's a concept.
Hey, it's fun.
Give me ideas in here. I got college football championship. There you go. Georgia plus 135, Ohio State 150. Tennessee at 16-1. You like John Harbaugh's brother Jim? You get 16-1. All right, there you go. Clemson. You're getting me stimulated. You're getting me stimulated. You're starting conversations here, Chris.
I think the only thing we don't have here are politics. I know some of the sports books will take politics. I don't think we have the political wagers here. But
tell me a little bit about soup to nuts to get this thing open and partnerships and who really runs it and the things that you had to do that made it 9 more months than the Emporiums had.
Well, the casinos basically already had their programs in place. So when the legislation was passed, they got their license. I'm not going to say it was as easy as them flipping a switch, but essentially all the systems were in place. So they already had that.
They had a staff for that, right?
Correct. For us, we didn't even have an operator. So for us as a small guy, we had to go out and talk to, whether it would be an
What is an operator? What does that mean?
So like MGM is an operator. DraftKings, FanDuel, all those are sportsbook operators. Bet Parks is the operator that we made a deal with, that we signed an agreement with.
Well, tell me about Bet Parks. I'm unfamiliar a little bit with the brand.
So Bet Parks is outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They operate the largest casino in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's the place up off Philly. I almost went to see Styx up there. Right. There you go. Okay.
In Ben Salem.
Ben Salem. Okay. Yeah.
So they have. They've got mobile wagering in New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania, and then in Michigan. And I think they were just recently approved for Ohio. Goes live January 1, and I think they just got approved for that. So we just, it made sense too, because David Richardson, my partner in this, he is in the horse racing industry, and Parks obviously is also the racetrack or one of the racetracks in Pennsylvania, which he'll be able to tell you more about that. But so kind of the people were more comfortable with at Bet Parks than what we were with some of the other places that we talked to. And
they're local, right? They're up the road.
Right, yeah, essentially. I mean, it's not like a big national, DraftKings or FanDuel. And we hit it off with those guys, and they've been nothing but great to work with, all of them. I mean, it's really been a good experience with them. But I guess back to how it took this long is that things like, I was kind of joking with those guys, because for me, I mean, everything that we do on my level of business is just like, okay, I need this. We make a contract and we sign and we're good to go. With something this big, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't even happen in a week or 2 weeks. I mean, we were talking about months of
compliance was the word, right? Literally.
Of everything, yeah. And then once we finally did start really working hard at it, it still took probably 2 months or more, actually closer to 3 months to get it totally.
The amazing
here.
part is, I was here, it feels like a minute ago, but it was probably 6-7 months ago. I brought the Crab Cake Tour here. Carl Delmont and I got together. I think maybe it was April or May, whenever it was, right? So, and we were talking about it, and I told you I had been to other places, and that time of year, it's baseball. It'd be the only thing you were wagering on. Maybe the NBA Finals were going on then, or maybe Stanley Cup at that point. But I mean, I thought there was going to be more stuff other than what you had already built out. This is really about machines, compliance, where the money goes. Because I asked you, what's different? You're like, well, you just can't be underage and be on this side, right? It's 21 years and above.
Yeah, 21
in this
and older.
room.
In this room, on this floor, it's got to be 21 and over is the age. But you're looking at one of the things that took a few extra weeks was, our betting window here. That used to be my office. so I got moved to the
Mr. Big at MGM
storage.
didn't have that problem. The guy at MGM, he didn't get thrown out of his office so that you could make room for the kiosks, right? So you have you have a window with two folks
tellers.
that can tellers, and then there's kiosks over in the corner, and there's two, and you come in anytime that
so we have 4 total.
So when is this facility physically open to accept? So it's Sunday morning, I wake up 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Manchester or up the road, whatever, Hanover, Pennsylvania. Come down. When do the doors open?
Right now, our hours are going to be on Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. So
okay.
And obviously, with every business, hours are subject to change. But right now, that's what we're trying to do. And I mean, if we have more demand to get open earlier, we may open earlier. If we have, if we don't have the demand later, then maybe we'll close a little bit earlier. We're not sure.
Buy
yet.
a ticket here, you got to cash it here, right? It's nothing online.
Correct.
Right?
You have to cash. But we did just get approval. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get a mobile license. I think they were saying by the beginning of December, if everything goes right.
I talked to John Martin about that. John will be on next week. I know he's got there's some news. There's been some movement on that.
That was yesterday.
Well, they're sweating it all out because, I mean, look, I had John on a year and a half ago. He's trying to get one of these places open, trying to get it legal. And it feels like 5 minutes. But for those of you who've put your life, sweat, moved out of your office, got thrown out of your office here, it feels like this long journey. But now that it's open, worth it, right? I mean, this is going to rock your world, and certainly for Carroll County. And I'm sure there's been some pushback on this from some people too, right? I mean, it was previously illicit before noon today, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like everything. I mean, look, we serve alcohol here. I mean, some people are against
Thank God
alcohol.
for that. Yeah.
So our thing is, if it's not your thing, then don't come in and don't place a wager. But if you want to do it now, like you said before, now you can do it, and you can do it on the up and up. You don't have to worry about.
He's using my word, up and up. You heard me say that. That's my dad's line on the up and up.
Well, yeah, I've used that before.
That's just what you would want it to be.
Yeah. And
I keep thinking every person that's going to come in here, it's not their first wager, and I'm thinking, where were they wagering before? And was it? It was not on the up and up. The state was not getting a piece of it. And more than that, there was some element of bad things going on if somebody didn't pay the bet, right? Like literally.
Yeah, that's what people think. But, I agree with you. I think but remember, starting last December, you could wager in Maryland retail at the casinos. And I think that just a few people that I've talked to today are just happy that they don't have to drive down to the city. And actually, one guy said that he goes, well, I was waiting for you guys to open because I'm just not going to ride down there for – to place a $25 wager, to place a $50 wager.
Right.
So they're already. I've talked to a few people that are super happy that we're open.
You raised $5,000 already just in the beginning for local charity, right?
Yes. For there's a food pantry. What's the name of the Hampstead Little Free Pantry? They're at St. John's Church, right across from the Jiffy Mart in town.
Beautiful.
And there's the girl. Her name is Mackenzie Greenwood. She started it, I think, 5 or 6 years ago when she was 9 years old. So she's 15 now, and she started that food pantry.
Well, I'll interview her on the other side because she can't come in here because she's underage. All right, so look, I come up here. I love the place. I love the staff. I love talking rock and roll with Michelle, seeing your people, seeing all the local. And I even love our friendship, but I really come for the crab cakes. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, all things. You know how good it is, right?
Yeah. I'm with you, man.
I texted him this morning, and I'm like, I want to get up and get one of your crab cakes. It's been a while because I've been all over the county. Okay, I was over in Westminster, Rock Salt. We did the show there last week of August. I was at Liberatories in Eldersburg and towards 1623. Had Mike McKell. It took great care of me. Had beer, but I want to get back up here, and this is the homeland for me. I discovered this crab cake. Chris and I were together doing a charity. We met at.
Big Brothers,
Big Brothers.
Sisters.
I keep wanting to say Boys and Girls Clubs, but I did a segment for them. Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
At the stadium.
I was a celebrity chef in 2005 or 6. was new. I was new in my marriage, and my wife and I had never been invited to do such a thing, and she really took it to heart, man. Which we went out, we bought these giant. We got big pork shanks, and we did nacho pork, barbecue pork. It was phenomenal. But you had this crab cake. You were frying them that night. You were doing little fried crab balls.
We were doing broiled, man.
I remember it as fried. Let me remember it the way I want because it was delicious. But you serve them broiled, though, right?
Yeah, we serve more broiled than fried, but I know you're a fried guy, so.
I come for the crab cakes. We're at Greenmount Station, adjacent to Greenmount. I should now say we're at the Bet Parks Sportsbook at
That's
Greenmount
correct.
Station. Is that the way to say it?
That is correct, yeah.
I saw the Maryland Jockey Club logo out on the front, too, so we can still promote the OTB, right?
Sure.
People see the horse racing here.
Absolutely. We're hoping they feed off each other. Hopefully we'll get some horse bettors in here that want to bet on some sports and vice versa.
Why would anybody get that broiled? I mean, I got a broiling, but you hear that crunch?
Yeah, I know. I'm a broiled guy, so you're fighting a losing battle with
Ever
me.
since he lost weight, he's all worried about that. Eat some broccoli with me. Chris Richards here. We are at Greenmount Station. You're going to bring in your partner.
David.
Well, David, I've been by the bowling alley 100 times because I've been in the parking lot here 100 times, and every time I go by, I think like bowling, because I used to do a duck pin challenge every single year. I'm a little weird on 10 pins because I'm missing a pretty key finger. I did beat Danny Wiseman first time we bowled together. I kicked his ass, and I got evidence. He even autographed when I beat him. I grew up with Danny. We traded baseball cards. We got at Drug City, where we'll be next week on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, presented by the Maryland Lottery. You folks at the Fountain, Chuck, I know you're out there, and I know you're watching because I saw him at Costas. I'm the only guy that goes into Costas to have a beer and a crab cake and winds up doing the show down the street and having somebody else's crab cake and getting the full blessing of Nick and Pete. We're going to be at the Fountain at Drug City next week, where I'm sure Danny Wiseman and I bought baseball cards together back in the day. We're up at Greenmount Station. We're in Hampstead, beautiful Carroll County, talking about the new thing. It looks a lot like the old thing, except you can place wagers here with the Bet Parks, folks. Dave's going to join us. Chris is going to stay with us. I'm going to eat some French fries that have gotten a little cold. I feel a lot better about using Heinz ketchup now that the Steelers are in last place. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We're back for more in Carroll County right after this.